Hey family, welcome back to the channel. It's Dad. Hope you're having a great day. Something I wanted to share with recent economic challenges, the inflation discussion that's been going on, in the media, all around us here in the United States and in the world. I thought it would be a good topic to discuss the cost of raising a kid. Is it worth it? As a parent for 20 years, I have a kid that's a junior in college and another one that's graduating high school and is entering college in the fall. I wanted to share my perspectives and thoughts. And according to a website, bankrate.com, they had an article which was really interesting that researched the average cost of raising a child. And I'll put the link in the comment section here on this video. But at the end of the day, bottom line here, what's really eye-opening to me was there was a 2015 study done by the USDA and found that it cost an estimated $233,610 to raise two children from birth to age 17 in a middle income family with two parents. Now, adjusted to inflation in 2022 dollars, that's about $286,000. Think about that. For one kid, that's $143,000. And if you divide that yearly, that's just under $8,000 a year. Holy shit. And also NerdWallet, Smart Money Podcast, they had a podcast on June 8th. Shout out to NerdWallet. I'm a huge fan. And it talked about the price of parenthood, what it costs to be a parent. And again, very interesting topic, very interesting discussion. I encourage you to listen to that. And again, I'll put that link in the comment section below for your convenience. Yeah, it does get more expensive as kids age. Matter of fact, let's back it up. It gets really expensive even before they're born. I mean, think about the pregnant mother who's got to go to the OBGYN or doctor visits, taking the time to do the researching, what to expect when you're expecting, daycares, and then, clothes, researching all of that can be exhausting and time consuming as well. And by the time you're having, you're delivering the baby, that's an added cost as well, right? Going to the hospital, depending on your insurance, there's going to be out-of-pocket costs on that. So definitely already the dollar amounts are piling up even before the baby is born. And once the baby is born, healthcare is going to be a huge cost. Just from my experience, I mean, the first couple of years, with the amount of well visits that the kid has can be a burden, even though they may be covered by your insurance. But there's some medications that you may have to get. There may be that odd ER visit, urgent care visit, that because your kid may have the sniffles that you don't want to take any chances, and you just want to take them to the ER or urgent care visit. And then with that, there may be some prescription medications, antibiotics that you will have to go purchase along the way. That can be costly and can be time consuming as well. And then daycare, if both parents or one parent, single parents, if they're working, daycare is going to be a significant added cost. And doing the researching on that, I mean, that can be consuming because you want to go and visit those daycares. But, my experience with daycare, and mind you, this was back in 2003 through, I think, 2015, when my youngest stopped going to daycare. I can recall the first couple years, because usually when they're newborns, infants, that's going to be the most expensive cost for daycare. Is I think it was roughly around $1,000 a month, $1,200 for each child. So that is a huge cost. I can't imagine what it is now. If you know what it is, or if you've had experience with paying for childcare, during their infant stages, let me know in the comment section. Be curious to hear what the costs are now for daycare. And then not only daycare and medical costs, but I mean, clothes, food, diapers, birthday parties. I mean, I can recall a couple of birthday parties that, we went a little further than we should have. Just my experience. And then toys. I mean, don't get me fucking started with toys. Ridiculous. I mean, all the toys that we bought, I mean, my kids probably didn't even play with half of them. They had their top 3 toys that they carried around with them 90% of the time. So just a heads up out there, don't buy so many fucking toys. And mind you, all that stuff, that's before they even start kindergarten. And then shit goes up from there. And as the kids move into teen years, you're looking at technology, the devices, all the devices that are involved in the kids' lives during these teen years. You got the cell phones, you got the tablets, you even probably have laptops. I got my kids' laptops. In this day and age with school, they're going paperless. Everything's PDF, Word doc, everything's online. Submitting electronically, emails, things like that. So the schools do offer, electronic devices, but for me, it was really nice to get I want to say a better laptop for my kids so they could use for the next 5-10 years. And not only devices, the cell phones, the laptops, the tablets, all those gadgets, but you're also talking about, when they get driver's licenses, what's that going to look like, right? If you start adding your kid to your insurance plan, that's going to go up fucking crazy. The amount that went up, I think with my insurance premiums, I think it went up 2 or 3x. Once I added one kid, it was significant. I want to say it was more than double. And then adding a second kid to my insurance plan, I think it was right around 2-3x than what I was originally paying. So definitely costly. And, not only that, but, additional oil changes, gas, especially with gas prices nowadays, that's an individual added cost too. Now, mind you, teenagers, kids, they can get jobs. Both my teenagers got jobs, and they were able to help, pay for some of these costs, such as gas and out-of-pocket expenses if they wanted to go out and hang out with their friends. But obviously, it's not enough to cover all the expenses associated with raising a kid. And not only that, vacations are going to be an added expense. It's going to get more expensive when you have to take a whole family on a trip. And we're not talking about, we're also talking about road trips, obviously, is one thing, going out to the coast where we live, but also those touristy destinations, right? You're talking about Disneyland, you're talking about SeaWorld, you're talking about Universal Studios. They're all going to add up. And one mistake that I did take when I took our kids for the first time to Disneyland was how young they were. They didn't remember shit. And, it was such a huge cost associated taking our kids to Disneyland and them not even having a memory about it because they were so young. Now, Bankrate article only states through the age of 17. So majority of us, when our kid turns 18, we're not going to kick him to the curb, right? My son's a senior in high school. He turned 18 when he was still a senior. I'm still going to take care of him. He's still going to live under my roof. In fact, high school graduation is coming up in June, and we have family and friends coming. And that's added cost as well, right? Having family come in, taking them around town, showing them sights and sceneries of the area. And then after the graduation ceremony, we're going to have a dinner, nothing fancy, but we're going to have everyone together and we're going to have a nice dinner at a local Italian restaurant. That's an added cost. So just keep in mind that even though Bankrate talks about from birth to the age of 17, 18 years old, you're still going to take care of them if they're in high school. You're going to have costs incurred with that as well. Now, another huge cost is savings for college. I've been saving since my kids were both born on a college savings plan, a 529 account. And I can tell you how much I've saved is not going to cover the total cost of college. It's ridiculous. Now, luckily, my son was able to get some scholarships. He's starting school in the fall. Luckily, he was able to get some scholarships. Really grateful for that. But it's still not going to cover the total cost of tuition and housing. But we also agreed that he's gonna finish and get his bachelor's degree in 3 years, which I'm proud of that. But on a future episode, I'll talk a little more about that. We'll do a deep dive on the cost of college and is it worth it. So what's my final verdict? As a high school graduate, college graduate, you can't help but enjoy the product you created, molded, and shaped. It's really, really rewarding to see the all the effort, time and effort that you put in raising your child. I can't help but smile and just enjoy and think back to all the times, from birth to 18 years, what they've done. There's been a lot of bumps and bruises, obviously, a lot of challenges financially, but at the end of the day, it was definitely worth it. And I wouldn't have changed it in the world. That was really a rewarding part of this journey as a parent. What can you do in preparing for having a child? Obviously expect your overhead, your expenses to increase and have unexpected costs. I really, truly believe that you should have an emergency fund and a fund for kids, vacations, etc. Learn to budget. If you feel like you are struggling financially, definitely budget. Understand where your money's going. I've been budgeting for 8 years. I use the Everyday Dollar app from Dave Ramsey, and I know literally where every dollar is going from my paycheck. Now, if you do the budgeting, you've done it for a couple months, and you're still struggling to, find ways to cut costs, find ways to increase your income, albeit a side hustle, second job, something you can do online on the weekends, things like that. Definitely recommend that. And we can talk more about that on a future episode. Leave me a comment if you are struggling, if you need to find ways to cut costs or increase income. Let's discuss it. Let's have a discussion, open air discussion on what we can do. My always belief is, multiple minds helping solve a problem is better than one mind. Teach kids the importance of money as well, and cost analysis as they turn into teens. Also believe in, the importance of being active, being involved, getting a job, volunteering during their teenage years is all very valuable. That will prepare them as they get older in life as well. Overall, I do believe it's well worth the return on investment on raising a child, but understand it's a marathon. You will run into bumps and bruises throughout the journey of parenthood. There are going to be some challenges. There's going to be some emotional times. There's going to be some very stressful times. There's going to be some sleepless nights. But understand it's going to be well worth it with the time, cost, and effort that you put into it. Now, I'm not a professional or a financial expert. These are my thoughts and perspectives as I did raise 2 kids who are now in college. Tell me your thoughts. Leave a comment, subscribe to my channel. That's all I got. Stay safe, stay positive, and be happy. Love you, Dad.